If you have been alive at any time over the past 2 months, chances are you have heard of Squid Game. No, not that Squid Game. Season 2 released recently, and just as when Season 1 released, the internet has been filled to the brim with Squid Game content. You got everything from Sigma edits to Roblox videos to, this. With all the talk around Squid Game, I'm sure everyone at one point has wondered, could I survive this? I mean, it's just a bunch of childhood games. It can't be that difficult. No!
No way.
Did you see that? So I have conducted hours of research to devise the most foolproof, indisputable strategies to win every single game from Squid Game. And by that, I mean I thought about it for a few minutes. A few is being generous.
I said I played these games before!
Now for red light, green light, you're probably thinking there isn't much strategy to be had. You just go when it's green and stop when it's red. But the problem here isn't the game itself, but rather the ground. It's made of loose gravel, which means we can't stop instantly, and this is a bit of a problem in a game where the entire premise is, stopping. Now if we're playing in the Korean version of the show, this is actually less of a problem because that version has the doll singing the song. So when the song is about to end, we can just take a second or two to stop. But if we're in the English version, the doll just says red light with no warning.
Green light.
Guys, that's a fake. This is why you never go with the dub. But no matter what version we are playing in, I have the solution. We crab walk. You put both your hands and feet on the ground and move like this. This ensures we always have at least 2 points of contact on the ground. And even if we're in the English version, you can just sit on the ground as soon as it says red light. This is actually beneficial in the initial panic once everyone realizes they are going to die, because everyone just starts pushing each other over like there's no tomorrow. The only downside here is we're going to be moving a lot slower than we would be if we were standing upright, but the reason everyone barely makes it to the end in the show is because they spend half the game panicking. So as long as we're just chill guys who don't really give a fuck, we'll be fine. For this game, you have to extract the shape from the cookie, and they literally give you the cheat code to win in the show. All you gotta do is lick the candy, which melts the sugar, and it makes it significantly easier to extract the shape. The only thing to add on here is after licking the cookie, you should scrape around it a few times with the needle rather than just ripping it out like Gihan does. And how do I know this will work? Well, let me prove it to you. All you gotta do is dump some sugar into a ladle, throw it in the microwave, stir it around until the sugar becomes a liquid. It should look kind of like caramel. Then put in some baking soda, stir that around. It causes the sugar to puff up and become like a candy texture. Then you press it down, put the shape in it, and boom. The circle was extremely easy to extract. I barely even had to lick it. Now I don't have any actual cookie cutters, so instead I used this tape dispenser. I figured this kind of is a weird looking shape. And this one was pretty easy to extract. I had to lick it a good amount, but once I licked it, it just easily fell apart. Man, this shit's easy.
But that's the edge, no me I'll go.
Tug of war is where things start to get a bit difficult. This game is extremely team dependent. If your team isn't good, you're kind of screwed. And this isn't an Overwatch lobby, so you can't just blame your teammates. Now in the show, Gihan's team uses 2 strategies to win. The first one is from the old man, who tells everyone that he played tug of war when he was a kid, and he had this strategy that works no matter your strength. You alternate what side of the rope players are standing on, and you tuck the rope under your armpit. You face your feet straight forward, and when the game starts, you thrust your pelvis to the sky and hold. This is supposed to tire your opponent, as they'll find it is impossible to move you. Now this strategy obviously sounds great, and theoretically it should guarantee us a victory. But the thing is, it's been tested, and although this strategy does work in a professional setting, if you round up a bunch of average Joes and tell them to do this, it's gonna be a steamroll, and not in your favor. So unless you're playing with tug of war professionals on your team, you're probably going to want to rely on strength over strategy. However, Gihan's team also employs the strategy of taking 3 steps forward to throw the enemy team off their balance and ultimately wins them the game. And if the enemy team is not expecting it, then yes, this tactic does actually work. So basically, as long as the enemy team has never watched Squid Game before, we should be fine.
Make me lose my marbles!
Marbles is an interesting one because there are no defined rules for the game. You partner up with another person and each of you are given 10 marbles. You have 30 minutes to play whatever game you want, and whoever has all the marbles at the end of the 30 minutes wins. Now you're able to choose your partner for this game, and in the show, nobody knew what they were choosing a partner for, but since you watched this video, you know what the game is going to be. So you're going to want to go with someone who seems very gullible.
You and me will be the best team.
Just go around showing everybody one of these and see who falls for it. But no matter your partner, it really just comes down to what marble game you play. Now ideally you'd want to choose something you know you can win in, so if you're really good at something, choose that. There's apparently this game called Nim that you can rig to win every time, but it relies on your partner not knowing how the game works, so it's a 50-50 chance. But really, the best way to win this game is to not play at all. In the show, Mignot did not have a partner because there was an uneven number of players, and rather than being eliminated, she just straight up got to skip the game. So if we really want to ensure we survive, just make sure there's an uneven amount of people during lights out. Or just tell everyone you're a league player, no one's gonna want to be on your team anyways.
Well, he went this way, and then he went that.
So to be honest, with this one you're kinda screwed if you're the first person. Aside from just refusing to move, there's really not much you can do. However, you can significantly increase your chances with a few key things. First of all, in the show there's a glassmaker who claims he can see the difference between tempered and regular glass, and this is actually true. Tempered glass causes light to fracture, meaning if you look at it at the right angle, you can see wavy patterns in the glass. Now in the show, once the frontman sees that the glassmaker can tell the difference, he shuts off the lights, so you're going to have to make it very subtle that you can tell the difference. But the more promising thing here is that Lewis Weds, I probably said that wrong, made a video testing the glass bridge, and contrary to what the show claims, the normal glass can actually hold the weight of a person. So as long as you're not ground pounding onto each panel, you can easily waltz along the entire course without breaking a single piece of glass.
And together, we are Squid Game.
To be honest, this one doesn't really have much strategy behind it. No matter if you choose offense or defense, the game just comes down to who kills each other first. I honestly don't really understand how this game works, but in the show, Gi-hun almost wins the game by stepping into this triangle, in which case they would have killed Sang-woo. So realistically, our best chance would be to choose offense and aim for the defender's legs so they can't, you know, defend us. And then all we have to do is run to the triangle and boom, we win. So this is one of the 2 new games from season 2, and what makes it unique is there are multiple games in one. They tie 5 people together, or rather chain them, and then you have 5 minutes to march your way through the course, stopping at these stations to complete mini games. Now the trick here comes down to your team, because each member of your team can only play one of the games. So ideally you'd want to have a team with each person being good at a different game. Now obviously you could just go around asking people what games they're good at, but in the show nobody knew what they were choosing teammates for, and I'm sure someone higher up would notice that somebody just knows the game somehow. But there's actually a much easier solution to ensure you have a good team, and someone in the show actually does it.
아이가 있어요.
Just tell them you're pregnant. What are they gonna do? Tell me I'm not pregnant? So once we have our team, we have to choose which mini game we're going to play. We can pick between Dakshki, Flying Stone, Ganji, Spinning Top, and Jeggi. I probably said all of those wrong. Now if you're like me and have no experience with any of these games, I think the best option is to go for Dakshki. Flying Stone is the easiest game because all you have to do is throw a stone at a target, but the problem is if we miss our toss, we have to go retrieve the stone, which is going to take up a lot of valuable time. However, if we mess up in Dakshki, all we have to do is reach down and pick up the paper. And whatever you do, make sure this guy is not on your team.
Circular, circular. Yeah. Circular, circular.
Mingle is simultaneously the most strategic and least strategic game of the entire series.
Let's go!
A number of people is given and you must form groups of that size, and then you enter a room with those people. If your room has too few or too many people, you are eliminated. And if you end up outside of a room, you are also eliminated. Now you have 2 options on how to handle this game. The first one is you could form a group of people that you stick with throughout the game, adding or subtracting people as needed. The problem, however, is if the number is smaller than your group, you run the risk of being kicked out of the group and then you have to find someone else. The other method is you could go solo and tag on to groups that need more people. However, here you run the risk of not being able to find a group that needs you. It's over. It's over. So I think the best strategy here is to combine the 2. You form a group and right from the get-go you decide how your group will be split up for different numbers. In the show, the numbers they call are anywhere from 10 to 2. And I think for this range, the best group size is to have 6 people. If they call something like 10, you just have to find a group of 4 and then you have enough people. But if it's 5 and under, you can split into groups of 2 or 3 and then run out to find people to fill the remaining spots. And by predetermining how we're going to split up, it'll maximize the amount of time we can spend finding other people to join our group. It's not a guaranteed win, but I think it gives us the best possible chance of making it out alive. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm off to go sit on random benches and hope a guy in a suit approaches me so I can test these out. Oh my god, everyone spends so much money on this game. It's not fair.
What the hell?
Chào chú, nói chuyện không?
Why are there subtitles?
Oh, my bad.
I heard you need some money for Clash Royale. If you play a game with me, I'll give you enough money to buy the battle pass.
Really? What do I do?
It's called Dachki. You place one square on the ground and you try to flip it with the other. Like this.
Damn, you suck.
You try.
You have any other ideas?
Just take the card.